Bottoms coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Masters of the Universe Classics Shadow Weaver, the 2012 Club Eternia subscription exclusive figure. Now, what does all that basically mean? Well, if you wanted to get this figure for a relatively good price, the $20 or so that it goes for a Matty collector, you had to become a 2012 Club Eternia subscriber. Now, you can get this outside of that if you go to eBay and pay a ridiculous price for it. I think I've already seen this thing going for like $150 on eBay, which is just absolutely insane. And when they first announced the 2012 lineup, well, the first couple figures, and they actually showed this figure, I knew I had to get this set. Mostly because of this figure in addition to the Sorceress. This is just really cool. Now, in addition to that, you also get this Masters of the Universe Classic Praetor map. It says, after the creation of the 5 dimensions, the gods hid all of their magic deep within the core of a small planet in the center of the dimension of Eternia. Here in the form of a star, it was guarded by the giant Procrustes. Over the centuries, the magic slowly seeped out, blessing many wise Eternian wizards with the power to control and tap into the great magic energies. Sensing planet Eternia was the secret location of the god's magic, the unnamed one bred an army of snake warriors to raid it, hoping to seize the magic for his revenge. Though his servant King Hiss conquered Eternia for 3 centuries, the great wars against King Grayskull and the Horde invaders eventually ended Hiss's reptilian rule. During these wars, Hero's technovirus spread across the planet, infecting Eternia and causing it to stand out in the universe as a planet mixed with both magic and technology. You see a real cool picture right here, and then you open it up, and I'm not going to be able to get the whole thing in camera because it's a poster is what it basically is. And like I said, this is exclusive. You see Eternia before the spell of separation, and you got the Horde territory there. You see the Dragon territory, and that says the Central Towers, that thing right there. God, this is so big. Come over here, and you got the Viper Tower. This is the whole Snake territory thing. And you got the Ocean of Fire and stuff. What else do we have over here? Come on, get out of the way. I got so much crap over here. It's so hard to show you guys this. Alright, here we go. And then here's the Free People of Praetornia. You got Castle Grayskull right there. Grayskull Tower. You got a little dinosaur. Whole bunch of really cool things, though. This is actually really pretty neat. And I'm actually kind of happy that I got this as well. So, there we go, the Praetornia map. Moving on to the figure itself, like I said in my Sorceress review, they're using new boxes with this. And the one thing that I have noticed is they actually do include the tissue paper. The tissue paper with this. Which, I wonder if it's just because this is a specialty figure. Come on, get out. And there you have the evil Shadow Weaver. Now, for the most part, I honestly got this figure for my wife. Growing up, I was a huge He-Man fan. She was a huge She-Ra fan. And when she saw the Shadow Weaver, she absolutely loved it. Now, the cool thing about this is the very first time that a figure has ever been created for Shadow Weaver. And finally, the Masters of the Universe Classics line from Matty Collector acquired the rights from Filmation and is finally able to actually make this character for us. So this is definitely a figure that is going to be highly sought after and very cool looking. The evil mistress of dark magic. She's part of the evil horde. Really cool kind of packaging that we're very familiar with. Spin around here on the back. And you see the 30th anniversary. Hordak, Grizzlor, Leech, Shadow Weaver, Adora, and Bo. And you see Shadow Weaver, whose real name is Beatrix. Born in the Etherian kingdom of Mestakar, Beatrix was once known as Lightspinner and served as an apprentice to the great mage Norwin. When Hordak arrived on Etheria during his exile in Despondos, he promised her great power in return for information and help in overthrowing Bright Moon and the surrounding kingdoms. Her powers were greatly enhanced through a magical gem whose power also induced an irreversible change in her appearance and mental state. She betrayed Norwin and her fellow magical student, cast a spell. Oh, Their penchants for whimsical names knows no end, leading the Horde troopers to their hidden magic archives. In Horror Hall, Beatrix took the name Shadow Weaver, using her black magic to fight the Great Rebellion, all the while secretly plotting to overthrow Hordak and claim his power for her own. So this chick is really evil. And she was also the one that was responsible for keeping a spell on Adora, preventing her from knowing her true identity. But absolutely gorgeous. You can see some of her accessories in there. You see her little book of magic. And then, I don't know if you can see her stand on there, but we're going to get to that. Now, this is definitely a figure that I'm excited about, but I know my wife is really going to be even more excited about it. So let's get her open and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the one, the only, the absolute evil Shadow Weaver opened up and out of her packaging. And really absolutely stunning. Very, very stunning. I'll get to the figure here in a minute, but first I want to highlight her evil book. I mean, this thing is just absolutely cool looking. I love the detail on here. Very cool symbol right here. Love the gold pattern all the way throughout it, in addition to the actual green binding itself. Very cool looking. You see the gold kind of lock here. Unfortunately, it doesn't open or anything like that. And you see the gold goes all the way through on the back. That's just really kind of cool. And you can see some sort of page separations inside there, so that's not too terribly bad. Definitely a nice book. The one kind of problem, I suppose, with it is that the way that her hand is, she can't really hold it very well. I mean, she kind of, can go like that, I suppose, but it doesn't really look like she's holding it too terribly well, although that's not too bad, I guess. That doesn't look too terribly bad. She also comes with this staff, which is absolutely awesome. As you can see, really nice, just painted silver. You got some nice kind of black paint highlights going through here, which are really kind of cool. But this little marble looking thing is just so wickedly awesome. I love the translucency on here. I mean, that is just absolutely cool and fun and very wizardy looking. Very nice. She does hold that perfectly in her right hand here. But I mean, this figure is just absolutely wonderful. Now, one thing that I will say, I do find it interesting that they're able to do something like this with Shadow Weaver. I mean, this is very soft. They're able to do this with Shadow Weaver, yet they couldn't do something like that in terms of a cape with Sorceress. Okay, I guess. Now, one thing that you guys are going to kind of notice is she doesn't have legs. She absolutely never had legs. She always kind of floated. Now, what I actually liked is, I mean, you could do it like this, but, I mean, that's not how she was in the show. I mean, she didn't walk around like this. It wasn't like she was just had a really long dress and she was just dragging her feet. She actually hovered. I mean, she was kind of like a ghost. So I love the fact that they included the stand that you just slap down on there. Now it's not really on a ball joint or anything, it just kind of sits there, but now you got the illusion that she's hovering, and that's just absolutely awesome. And I mean, look at that face. That is just absolutely incredible. Now, one thing that people have kind of talked about is the fact that if you look really close, she actually does have a little bit of a nose going on. Now, she didn't have that in the cartoon. You can definitely see it right there. I mean, she definitely has a bit of a nose going on there. Now, in the cartoon, all she did was just have, you know, the eyes themselves, and the whole head was black. I do actually like how they gave her a little bit of a facial structure. That's actually kind of cool. I don't mind that all that much. So I definitely give them props for doing that. The coloring on her cape, or whatever you want to call it, is just absolutely awesome. You can see some darkness in between her chest right here that comes out and it gets a little bit lighter, and then there's just some awesome detailing in terms of like the dark wash going all the way throughout it. Very kind of cool. I mean, I really love the way that this looks, and it's so wicked. Absolutely awesome. In terms of her articulation, it is pretty much the same. I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised. Her head is on the typical ball joint, but because of the whole the hood thing that you have here, you know, you really can only get a left and right. You can look up and you can look down just a little, not too terribly much, but it is still there. I mean, so you can do things with it. The ball joint, well, not really ball joint, ball joint. They're pretty much pin and swivel joints are up here at the shoulder. I mean, that's just very cool. One thing that I am noticing that kind of sucks, though, is that because of the bicep joint here, it's causing stress marks in here. It's actually making this look like it's going to tear. You can definitely see it form. Well, this side you can see it, but this side it's kind of forming. This one right here, is even more pronounced right inside there. That really kind of sucks. I'm very disappointed in that. Very, very disappointed. She bends here at the elbow, and I like how they actually kept this separate so that she can bend at the elbow. She rotates here at the wrist. She actually rotates at the waist, and because she doesn't have any legs, I'm actually really surprised that they decided to put any kind of articulation in here. You can actually bend her down. I mean, I was actually kind of surprised that they put that on there, but I'm really happy that they did. It's a very nice touch. And it's blended in there fairly well. That it's masked fairly decently. Overall, this figure really is incredible looking. I mean, I absolutely love the way that it looks. And then you get the whole look like this, like she's casting a spell. I mean, that's just really ridiculously cool. The unfortunate nature of this figure means that a lot of people are not going to be able to get her. I honestly don't even know if you can go to a place like Big Bad Toy Store and pick her up, because it was a subscription only figure, and realistically, unless they ordered like 50 or 100 subscriptions, I don't know how they would get a surplus of these figures to sell. So really, the only way that you guys are going to be able to get her is by going to eBay. But the prices is just, it's astronomical, because this is the first and only figure that we've ever gotten for Shadow Weaver. So it's really, really tough for me to recommend picking her up, because she's going to be so expensive for you guys. I mean, looks-wise, this is an absolutely amazing figure, and this is absolutely why I love the Masters of the Universe Classic figures. This is everything that is good about the line. So, without a doubt, I recommend getting her, but you have to be very careful with the price. I honestly can't even tell you what I would pay for her, because, I mean, I got her as part of my subscription. So I can't even recommend to you guys what price would be good. It's all depending on how much you think she's worth. She's a gorgeous figure. There's a couple minor flaws. The only minor flaw, really, I mean, that I could find were the cape looking like it's gonna rip. But as long as you don't handle it too much, that should be okay. But all in all, this is absolutely an amazing figure that if you are within the means to get it, I absolutely recommend picking this up. So until next time, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.